Um, so the reason you're here a little bit late today because you got hung up at the border.
We did, yeah.
Now, you're in a band that's played in far off places, unusual places like Dubai, and you couldn't get into Canada.
We couldn't get into Canada. It was just one of the boys has a conviction.
Minister's permit.
So
That's what you need.
And that works. Well, even if you have even if you've got a conviction.
You need something called a minister's. Record company guys, pay attention to this. You need a minister's permit for people to get into the country if they have a prior conviction. It will wipe everything clean just as long as you leave and you promise not to do anything bad while you're here.
Really?
Yeah.
So that basically means that if you're a minister, you can sin and still get into Canada.
In this particular case, I think they mean a government minister, but you might be right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're absolved. Come on in.
Yeah.
All
Sweet.
Right. So let's talk about the new record. Go through. Tell me everything about it.
Well, it's called Black Swan.
Is it based on that whole theory of black swans disrupting things, or is it?
Well, what we found was we made the record, and then you start talking about titles for the record, and so looking at what the record as a whole was about, we found that the songs as a collection are about these moments in our lives, particularly my life over the last 3 years, and these particular moments in time. Often, the big surprising things that you don't see coming. And Tim, our keyboardist, was reading this book by a guy called Nicholas Taleb.
Taleb, yeah.
At the time, which he's always reading books like that. It's basically an economist book, but yeah, he loves all that stuff. So he just said, well, basically, what you're talking about is black swans, and so we got the whole story then about black swans being a metaphor for those things in your life that are, the shocks, those things you can't prepare for, those things you don't see coming, but actually, they end up defining you.
And they change everything for good or for bad.
Yeah.
Just because you've never seen a black swan doesn't mean they don't exist. And when you do see one, it's like, whoa.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's it in a nutshell. There you go.
So where did you do this record?
We worked with a guy called Tom Rothrock, who you may know from working with Beck, Foo Fighters. Right. So he's always been someone that we've wanted to work with. And we actually, when we started writing this record, we just left EMI, and so we were kind of in limbo. And
there's a lot of that going around these days.
There is, yeah, a lot of people, saying goodbye to EMI. But basically, I'd written a bunch of songs, and really simple demos. And passed them on to a friend who passed them on to, I think Tom just got hold of them through my friend. And so I just got a phone call from Tom one day just saying, I love these songs, can I work with you? Which is kind of weird, because usually, usually as a band, you go to a producer and you go, can we work with you? So it's nice to have a producer come to us and go, can I work with you?
Now, we're getting this album late, aren't we?
You are, yeah.
Almost 6 months late.
I'd say about that, yeah.
Because it was available in Europe and elsewhere towards the end of last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so how? See,
why is that?
Why is that?
Why is that? Basically, we're sorting out record company stuff over here, which is kind of why it's staggered. Which, in a way, it kind of works out better because we've been able to tour UK and Europe and concentrate on that. And now we're out here for 5 weeks, and around the release of the record, which is better for everyone, isn't it?
Well, it's kind of like, almost like a relaunch, right?
Yeah.
So unless Although the world is fairly flat in that, you know, athlete fans would have been able to hear the new record somehow. But to be able to introduce a new record 6 months after you've had a chance to do it the first time, maybe you'll do it differently.
You never know, yeah.
Yeah.
We already have, a little bit.
In what way?
Well, over here we're releasing, the first track is called The Getaway.
Mm-hmm.
Back home we released a track called Superhuman Touch, which we kind of, that's suited to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And The Getaway, I don't know, I wanted The Getaway to be the first single everywhere in the UK too, I'll be honest. I wanted it to be the first single everywhere because I think it's the best track on the record. But we had a fight with the record label in the UK and lost.
Mm.
So we won over here.
All right. Well, we hope you have a lot of success with this record.
Thank you very much.
And that you have overcome your frontier problems.
Thank you very much.
And we'll look forward to seeing how the record does belatedly here in North America.
Sweet. I'm going to go and get one of those minister's permits too.
Yeah, you just put it in your back pocket so you can go whip across back and forth across the border.
Nice.
All right, thanks a lot.
For the advice.
Thank you.
Let's get back and
Oh, yes, we
check.
should.